It's time to get crafty and build this awesome Flag Marshal Tower from scratch. Get your tools ready, grab a strong coffee, and start your engines.
Okay, let's get right down to it. So after having a look at a few different Flag Marshal Towers online, there's a lot of different designs. I figured, okay, if I was a builder and I was being contracted by a real racetrack circuit to come in and knock up a few Marshal Towers for them, you got cars racing past at high speed. You imagine the air that's moving, the breeze. If you're on a little stilt with a platform on top, you'd be going like this all day long. And I think those poor old marshals would have a serious case of motion sickness by the end of the day. Some of those little towers look a bit like that. I thought, well, you really want to make it a bit stronger than that. So I designed this one. It's got a similar look to what you may have seen before. It's got the angled roof on top, but I made these main beams go all the way up to right under the roof line. If I was going to build a real one, this is how I'd build it, because once you put in the platform there, it's not sitting on top of stilts. It's fastened within those stilts, so that strengthens the whole structure. The roof is on top. It's sort of one thing, and that would be a much stronger structure, I think. That's how I'd build them. Of course, you want this to be set back a bit so the person leaning out with their flag is not being obstructed by giant big posts, and the cars come flying past. They don't quite see the flag. That's not going to work too well. So it was important to set these back a bit. These ones here are pretty flush with the back. So let's just start cutting pieces out. I'll show you how it's done. So I went to the store and bought a whole bunch of balsa wood. Yeah, as you can see, a whole bunch. I didn't know, like, I'm a complete beginner at this, like you probably are. That was my first attempt. It turned out okay, I think. But what did I get? First of all, I got this one. This is 9.5 millimeters in thickness. Now, everything I'm doing is centimeters, millimeters. We're metric over here in Australia. I know over in the States you're all inches, imperial. I've got nothing here that shows inches. So unfortunately, you're going to have to bear with me. It's all millimeters. I think you can find a conversion table online to download or something. But yeah, it'll all be in millimeters. And look, it's not hard. Inches actually confuse me. Now, this one is 9 mil thick, and it came in lengths about like so, about 1 meter long. Nearly knocked my coffee over. So I got a couple of these in 9 mil. I think I got a couple. Yep. And then these, this is a finer gauge again. This one is, what's that? 6.5 mil. So let's just call it a 5. Let's call this a 10. Call this a 5. And then I got this. This is only a couple of mil thick, 3 mil, and these are 915 by 100, so they're 10 centimeters wide. I use this for the base and the sides here. And then I thought, you know what, for the actual platform and the roof itself, the chunkier one would probably be the way to go. And then I wouldn't have to make all sorts of extra detail for the roof. Just keep it simple, because really we're going to be racing. We're not going to be going up close. Look at the detail on this Marshal Tower. Well, maybe some people will. All power to them. This one's 6.5 millimeters. Again, 10 centimeters wide, and it's 915, so it's nearly a meter long. I've cut a bit off. So I've got a couple of those as well. Like I said, I got enough. I think it was about $35 worth of craft wood, balsa wood. And there's enough here to build entirely at least half a dozen of these. And so it works out at less than $5 each. And the paint, I got at a dollar store. It's just acrylic paint. This was, well, I think it was $1. $2, $1.99. And it's just standard craft acrylic paints. I've used the white and the black on this. I added some white to the black to make it a bit more grey. Yeah, so really they're around the $5 mark, probably less than $5, and just the time you spend doing it. Okay, first off, we're going to cut out our 4 main support posts. And there's 2 different measurements. The front ones are 17 centimeters. The rear are 16 centimeters. Now, one of these cutting mats are perfect. They've already got the grid laid out. These are a must-have. That makes, assembling things, keeping them square, cutting them out, keeping everything consistent. It just makes the job easy. You know, I don't have to dick around with rulers and carry on. So right here, 0, there's our 17 mark. Mark him off. And what we're going to do is cut it from that 17 point, but we're going to not cut it straight across, but we're going to cut it on an angle. And there's no need to be pedantic about the angle. Just have a look at that. Guess. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're a perfectionist, knock yourself out. Okay. Now I'm going to take my little knife here. I don't have any craft knives as such, and I'm going to try and cut this with this one. Not too bad. Okay, we'll come back when I've cut these out. Okay, you caught me. I'm cheating. I've brought it outside to use my miter saw. This wood is a little bit. So, is this a miter saw or a coping? Miter saw. And one of these idiot-proof cutting thingamajiggies. There we are. Look at that, perfect. Okay, so I've got my 4 posts, 2 at 17, 2 at 16, and just to show you that measurement, so it's the lower edge of the angle that is 17, and the lower edge of the angle is 16. And when we assemble them, we're getting that kind of effect. Now, the angle on that coping saw thingamajiggy turned out to be absolutely perfect. There won't be much of a gap there. I'm not that precise. I'll get better as I go along, and hopefully you will too. If you're a seasoned expert, why are you watching this? So first of all, I've got some very fine sandpaper. I'm going to put these 2 together like so. And first of all, we're just going to gently sand the base, just because they're rough as guts. And that's just smoothing them out a bit more. No need to go too crazy with that. Just smooth the edges off. And then let's do the top. Okay, that's a bit better. Same with these guys. This is actually the same stuff I use for the tyre truing. Just get those edges a bit nice, a bit cleaner. Again, we can fill them later with filler, typical wood filler, whatever. So that's the first critical stage. They're correct. I'm just going to double check these because, again, these are the main supports that hold everything together. They'll do nicely. Yep, perfect. Okay, so next we're going to cut out we're going to make the little platform that the guy stands in. So for that, I'm using the lovely thicker. Yes, I did. We're using this. So this will be your floor. First we'll cut out the floor of the platform, and then we'll cut out the floor being that, and this is the roof. We'll cut these two bits out next, and we'll resort to the silly ruler. The floor is 7 centimeters by 5.5. Now this has got to be precise. Make sure you're accurate. 7. I've got a little square here. Always be prepared with your tools. Okay, 7 by 5.5. 5.5 centimeters, not inches. That would be a huge one. That'd be more like 1/120 scale or something. 5.5. There we are. Now again, I don't think a craft saw is going to cut through this, and I don't even have one. I found a set of craft saws on Amazon for $15. I've ordered them. They're on the way. That will make life a lot easier because I'm going to make a few of these and a few other things. So that's our floor. It all gets painted, so just write on it with your pencil what the components are. Don't want to get them confused. Then okay, we'll cut this one out and then we'll mark out the ceiling. See you in a sec. Okay, back again. I've had a bit of an accident, so with all this CrossFit training I'm doing lately, I just did vroom and busted the thing. So that's okay. We're going to glue him together and continue on. So a little bit of this craft glue. I don't know what the best glue to use for this is, because this stuff, see how it's stringy? Drives me up the wall. Let's take this piece, put it back on. Okay, we'll just let that set, and then we'll sand it down. Now this is the offcut. Don't throw these out, because obviously that can be the edges sanded. You can paint that up and use that for a sign, mount a logo on that. So put them aside, keep them for later. I've got a bunch of those from the last project. All right, this will take a minute or two to dry. That's pretty good already. Now, you're not going to see any kind of roughness, I think, with these things. It really simulates a more real life kind of structure where they've just knocked it up, banged it together. So don't be too disheartened if you have a little accident like that. That'll be fine. Once it's painted up, you won't even know it, and it'll be on the inside. You'll never see it. But rather than cut another one out, we don't want to waste it, because then it doesn't work out at $5 each, does it? It'll be like $5.05. All right, I'll leave that to dry. The next piece is the roof. Now, I did not write down the roof, so it's 7.5 by 10. Well, these are already 10 centimeters wide, so that's great news, because we'll only have to make one cut. 10 centimeters, yep. So double checking, measure twice, cut once. 7.5. We've got that. That's nasty. So there's a split there. Will I risk it or won't I? I think I'll cut this one from the other end. 7.5. Yeah. Get the level there. There we are. See if I can peel this table off out of the way. So let's just sand these edges. This is the actual roof, so you're going to see this. You're going to see it from every angle. So just take the time to sand off all these little rough bits. Don't go too crazy, and don't use too rough a texture sandpaper. Just yeah, that's good. So there's our roof. That's looking good. How's our floor looking? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to risk sanding this because this is the part I need. So yeah, make sure all the crap is sanded off. This floor piece is what we will work with next. We're going to add the 3 sides, the front and the 2 sides. And then we're going to attach them to our main posts. It'll already start looking like a thing. Okay, let's have a look. We want, we want the thinner material, the thinner. So this 3mm, what's this? This is the 10 centimeters by nearly a meter long, 3mm thick. This is the stuff we want for the sides. And I've already got the measurements written down here from before, but we will check them as we go. So it's 5.5. What is it? The front of the box is, no, the front of the box is 7.6 centimeters. 7.6. Okay. And it is 4 centimeters. So there's only one of these. Now one day I will have all the better tools and the better calipers and the better everything, and this will be a lot easier. But I'm assuming if you're just starting on this like I am, you probably don't even have the mess I've got here. Just use what you can to get the job done. Even one of these I think you can use, but be careful, you'll have to go over it several times. It's fairly brittle stuff, but I'm just using whatever I can get my hands on to get it done. Okay, let's use the square on that. Below. So just one of these. I'm wondering before I cut that out, because this is our front. This is waist. What are we going to use that for? Okay, this is a bit more brittle than I thought, so we'll try the utility knife. We got some band-aids ready? Because I actually have cut my finger with one of these. Believe it or not. Alright, that's just, there we go. All done. That easy. Sandpaper. Nice. Okay, that's our front side. So if we take our floor, you'll see that it fits nicely, and it's the width, the overhang there. You've got the floor, and then you've got the other sides that make up that width. And so that was 7.6 centimeters wide on that front. So that's that piece. Let's look at, can we use that? The 2 sides are 5.5 by 4. We can use that. I'm a little bit worried. Let's just cut this at 4. We'll get one out of this one. I'm a little bit worried about consistency. So I'll just cut this out first. Once again, don't cut your fingertip off. Don't become Tony Iommi of Australia. Oh dear. So that's my consistent 4 centimeters, yes. And the length of this side is 5.5. That's the best edge, or is that the best edge? Let's have a look. That one's pretty good. That one's crappy, so we'll use that one there. 5.5. Good. All right. And once again, this is one of the sides of the platform. 4 centimeters high, like the front. But this is only 5.5 centimeters in length. I'm going to double check that. 5.5. Let's try and cut it. Kung Fu. Wow. Yep, fine. So that's one side. One to go. Okay, back again with that one. Give him a light sand on those edges. And that means we are up to some assembly, which is pretty darn exciting. And the best part is we get to use the stringy glue again. Yay, stringy glue. So, get those posts and your floor. Now I'm just trying to remember what I did. Go over there, stringy glue. We did that gag. I believe, yes, that's what we did. Now I need a piece to do that. Underneath, I set the floor inward a little bit. So there's a gap under there, but it's not that thickness. I think the thickness is this one, the 5mm, or more accurately, what is it? It's the 6.5. I used a piece of this to set the the gap. So I'm gonna probably just snap off a little piece of that. Have I got some? I thought I put some aside. Clearly not. So here we go. And another one. Don't worry, I got plenty of this stuff. So we're going to use this just for sizing. So you'll have the floor set up on that, and then you just glue your sides on as such. So without further ado, let's do some stringy craft gluing. I think I need to finish that coffee. Any left? Some. So what I might do is this bit that's drying, I might put that underneath so we don't see it, and that'll be at the front. So I'm going to put on the sides first. That way we'll know that this is in the right position when we add that one. So add some glue just to the sides, side edge, like such. Stringy glue. And this one, it might be a bit stringy and a bit annoying, but it actually works well. Okay, so just rest that on that. We'll take one of our sides. You're going to line it up so it's flush with this edge, like so. You know, it's not protruding past. Same at the back. If you've cut them out accurately, they'll look pretty darn good. Now, that's sticking out in the way. I can put that there. Take your other side and attach that one. The glue takes a little while to dry. Now, what I do here is I use something like this, which I know is square, and just push that in against it. And that way, there's a good bet. It's going to dry square. Use your other piece. And just, that's protruding a little bit. But the height's correct. And just, we'll just wait till that dries. Okay, so that should be pretty much dry now. I got another one of these out of the tool chest. Straighten them up. So next we're going to add some glue to the front. And we're going to attach our front piece. So along there on the edge, again, any of this stuff can be, any that's excessive, we can sand it off later. We can smooth things out. Come on, glue, do your thing. Strings. Yeah, leave that in the place for the moment. Front, which is is that a nice? Yeah, all right. So we'll set that down on, oh, don't touch that, on those two spaces again. And let's get rid of that string. Let's attach the front. All right, that's drying quite well. Everything's looking pretty good so far. We can sand off these edges lightly. The underside there, you could always take some of this square stuff and you could put in like some cross members or something. You know, you could add as much detail as you want to, really. Cross ones like such. And you've got that space to do that. I don't think anybody is going to be looking under there, but who knows? Who knows? People do some weird things sometimes. The upside, here we are. As you can see with this one, I've added just a little ledge. That was with a piece of this, and it's just cut length and glued on. It's probably the last thing I added, really, so we'll do that later. Or should we do that now? All right, here's a piece. Let's do that now. All right. So, first of all, let's smooth that off. It's a little bit rough. Yeah, we'll do it now. Cool. Let's get that size just right. So that there. Check it. Good. Out to the sawing station we go. Okay, while I was out there sawing this piece, I realised we might want to paint it a different colour to what we do. So let's not glue it on yet. We'll add it on last after it gets painted, whatever colours we choose. So that will be glued on there like so. Too easy. We'll put him aside. What's next? Okay, that brings us to the very tricky bit of gluing on the legs, the main supports. And as I remember, this was not fun. Let's see what we can do. First of all, let's work them out on each side. We want one of each length. Okay. So you got the 17, the longer one is at the front. And don't forget that the angle is downwards towards the back because the roof is sloping upwards. And we're gonna we want to set it back a distance. And how I did that, what I used is, I think I used this stuff. Where's our other one? Oh, here we go. We're starting to lose things, so that's a bad sign. Back in a sec. Found it. So what I was doing was just combining these two and then laying them there on the front, like so. And taking my 17, that's not it. Taking my 17 centimeter post, that was the height. Now, let's work out the precise measurement for that. As I recall, it was, yes, 9 centimeters. It's precisely 9 centimeters from the ground to the underside there. 9 centimeters, double check that, 9 centimeters. This is how you get the scale right. So that's going to be angled back. So here we want to put a little marker for 9 centimeters. And then a damn good idea is to take all of them, put the flat edges this end, use one of these squares to get them all lined up. Turn them around the right way. I'm going to orient them the other way because the other side, I'm putting a pencil mark on this. There it is. And then with our other square, okay, we really need more fingers, don't we? There we go. We're going to have some consistency now. Wow, that was impressive. So there we go. We're going to lay those guys on top of each other to give us the distance, the setback, and that's the button. That, there's your pencil mark, will sit precisely there. So let's glue that guy on. A little bit of stringy. Yep. Why do I suddenly feel hungry for pizza? I don't know. Yes, we're going to eat it off the craft table. Maybe not. Okay, so that's in place and I will just hold it there for a bit. Okay, I've glued the other side on as well and we're just waiting for that to dry, holding this carefully, but you can see it's starting to take shape already. Now the next thing is to put the back legs on, and this is a lot easier. So I think are they moving? No, they're pretty good. They've taken, but we'll just be careful, keep an eye on that. Let's do this side. That side. That's the one. All right, add a little bit more glue. Okay, so this is lying, get rid of the grit. This is lying flat on your board and this will lie flat as well. Just all we're doing is lining up that pencil mark with the underside right there. There it is. And just press that in, look down from above and try to get all these in line with each other, you know, flush, square, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise you get a bit like that. This is the point where you want to get that right, otherwise it'll look a bit not particularly good when it goes together. So there's that one. Spin it around. I'm just going to put this masking tape on the top there. It just needs a little bit of weight to keep it flat on the floor, so to speak. I'm going to put on the back, the last post on this side. Yep. Glue. And there's There's our pencil line, as you can see. That's going in there. And that's lining up with that nicely. Looking good. Oh wow, the roof line is more accurate on this one than the prototype. It's looking pretty good. Okay, while that's aside, I'm just going to cut out our base. This is using the 3mm craft wood, balsa wood, and it's 10 centimeters wide, but it is 12 centimeters long. Or maybe I got those around, but anyway, it's 12 by 10. Ooh, getting a bit hungry. All right, get our square. No, one of them's off. Okay, so that's our base. Well, we don't need to write base on it, we know what it is. So yeah, 10 by 12, cut that one out. And then before we glue anything else together, it's time to give it a preliminary paint. Okay, painting is under the way. I've started painting the roof and the base, our little ledge thing. There's two pieces I forgot about, and that's these. These are 4 centimeters long, 2 centimeters wide, and you need 2 of those. And these are the little pieces that go on the back here, either side of the ladder. So cut 2 of those out. 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters, 2 of them, and then whatever color you end up painting this, pre-paint these as well. Okay, now while that lot dries, I'm going to cut out this extra little piece. This is this little number designation panel. I still don't know what to put on there, but they seem to have numbers, you know, the tower numbers. Again, you can put on there whatever you like, but I like that little feature, so I'm going to make another one for this guy. I'm going to cut it out. I'll pre-paint the edges dark, and I'm really not liking that bird crap colour. That's better. It looks just like our house. Well, sort of. Okay, all those pieces have been painted, and while the paint dries, we shall press on. Now, I've just had a brainstorm during that painting process and decided to cut out a few extra pieces. These are not on the prototype, but I think these are going to look great. So, get yourself that 5mm balsa wood. The square shaped, and cut out 2 pieces. We'll just move this guy over here for the time being. Cut out 2 pieces that are 10.5 centimeters. So 2 pieces of that 5mm square shaped balsa wood. Cut them to 10.5 centimeters in length. Put them aside. Then you want to cut 2 more at exactly 7 centimeters. So 2 at 7 centimeters. So 2 at 10.5 centimeters, 2 at 7 centimeters. Cut them square, and then 1 more of the same 5mm balsa. This one's got to be 9.5 centimeters. Exactly 9.5 centimeters. And then pre-paint those, give them time to dry, and paint this whatever color you ended up. As you can see, I didn't go with the bird crap. I didn't really warm to that. This is a nice stylish beige. Whatever colour you end up painting in the main piece, paint this the same colour. You could do them in a darker shade, like I've done the internal and the roof. I've done like a darker grey. You could do that with these to give it a little bit of contrast. They might look good like that. I'm thinking the same colour. And these are going to be like some cross members that fit in like so. So up to you how you paint them, but my suggestion is just make it the same colour as that. Now once you get that done and get the paint drying, we'll tackle the ladder. Alright, now on the prototype, I used this, I think it's 4 to 5 mil dowel for the ladder. I felt that it looked a bit chunky. Now, on the actual layout, it looks fine. But by all means, go ahead and use that if you've already got some. I raided the kitchen and found these skewers made out of bamboo. And these are only about 2.5 mil in thickness. And if we look on the back here, I think that's going to actually look a bit more, a bit more true to scale. So I'm going to go ahead and use these skewers. Totally up to you. You can use the other dowel. Let's try the skewers and see where that gets us. If it's a disaster, I'll revert back to using the dowel. The measurements will all be the same. All right, so I found I chose 3 of the most straight, because these things are all over the place. First, we want to cut 2 at precisely 13.5 centimetres. 13.5 centimetres. So there's one. Oh, I'm going left-handed for the moment. Oh, wow, what a difference. So, checking that again, 13.5. Let's do another at 13.5. Check that they match. Yes, I was worried about the shape at the top, but we can just rub those on the sandpaper, even them off a bit. The other side looks okay, fine. So there's our ladder height. Perfect. Put them aside. That leaves the rungs. So once again, these guys are at 13.5 centimetres. The rungs will be exactly 2 centimetres. So if you use these grids, it's 2 of those. As you can see, I've pre-marked them with a pencil. Now we need 9 rungs. 9 is the number, and the number is 9. So I'll just go ahead and cut these out, and back in a sec, eh? Okay, back again. I've got my 9. Well, I did about 11, but 2 of them went flying away somewhere. A word of caution, these are a little bit more difficult to sand. It's a harder timber than the balsa wood. So I'm just sanding the tips a little bit. I'm not going to be too pedantic, just to get rid of any little points. And we're nearly there. We're in the home straight now. See what I did there? Haha. We're going to use our masking tape. I've got some painter's masking tape here, which is the secret to doing this properly. Now, normally you lie one of these down and you start gluing these on, and as you're working with it, they're moving around and getting out of alignment and driving you insane. So The simple fix is some painter's masking tape. This is the extra hand you need when you don't have those extra hands. So we're going to start gluing these rungs and just lie them into place. Wow. How will we do this? You know what? Let's just make a big blob. Look out. That should do. Put the stringy there. And we're just going to dip like a little smorgasbord. Put it into place, lay it on there. Repeat that process. Look at that string. Next one. Now what we'll be able to do is perhaps trim any of these off that are a bit too long before we put on the other side. So just make sure they're nicely pressed against the first ladder piece. Straighten them up, make sure they're sitting nice and straight on those guidelines. And again, we're coming in 1 centimetre, we're not putting one on the very bottom, and then we're working our way up at 1 centimetre increments, and there's 9 rungs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go, I can count. Let's come back in a moment when that's dry. All right, now I've just gone ahead and put the final piece in place. I've taped it down nice and secure. We've got a few gaps here in between these rungs, and this bamboo, I don't know if this was such a good idea. I like the size, that it looks a bit better, more true to scale. It's awful stuff to work with, actually. The balsa wood you can easily sand off. So what I've done is I've just resorted to taking the glue and just getting it in there. Lots of blobs. It'll dry solid, and when we smooth it off with some sandpaper and spray paint it, we're going to spray paint it, you won't see it. So I've just put it in place. While it's drying, grab an offcut and just use it to gently nudge these so that they are straight. And just keep an eye on it as that glue dries. I'm going to put in a little bit more on that one, because that's a nasty big gap. So there we go, stringy. Just gently nudge them to make sure that they're straight to the eye at least. That's looking pretty good. Okay, outside getting ready to spray paint. I'm using this Duromax by Dulux. It's I guess they call it a chrome, but I find it gives a very unique galvanized metal look. So let's give this a few light sprays. Tack it from the other side. Alright, we'll let that dry, flip it over, give it another coat on the other side, and we are done. Right, we are in the home stretch now. We're going to start putting this thing together while the ladder dries. So we've got this guy, and we've got these 2 little extra pieces for the back here. Let's glue those on first. They go like so. Let's try this. So we got about that much glue there, and then a little bit along that edge there. Go away, stringy. Oh gosh, the stringy attacks again. Attack of the stringy. That one goes like so. Yep, that looks pretty good. This one. Ooh, no stringy that time. What's going on? Put this that way. That looks pretty cool, pretty square. Okay, I think I'll let this sit for a little bit. Back in a flash. Now while that glue's drying, let's go back to these mystery pieces, these extras that I cut out. We're going to take one of these longer ones, and these were the ones cut to 10.5 centimeters, and this is the 4 to 5 mil thickness balsa wood. These are going to be these little extra support struts that just sit in there like that. Okay, and then on the back one we'll flip this over when that dries, and the back one will go in like so, so we begin to get the a crisscross effect. And then these two shorter ones will somehow slide in under there, and then the opposite on the other side. We'll see. We'll get these two in first, get them dry. They may not fit, actually, now that I'm looking at it. They may not fit, but these two cross ones will look quite cool, I think. Now, this is an option. You don't have to do this. If you're happy with the way this one turned out without it, by all means, don't put these on. But I'm just seeing any little extra things that might look pretty cool. So let's glue this bottom one on. So a little, where we are, a little dab at that end, little dab at that end, and it's extra stringy all of a sudden. Alright, so I'm going to come in very carefully, and I'm just going to do it visually so that the distance there is about the same there. That looks pretty good. I think I got it in one. Press it down. Great. Now, what I'm also going to do is take my pencil, and I'm just going to draw a little circle there on the end, and from a distance I'm hoping that looks like a bolt going through. If it doesn't, oh well. There you go. Pretty rough as guts bolts, but you get the idea. And when we flip it over, we'll see the same thing. So once this is on the circuit and it's all dressed up with rocks and tyre piles and who knows what, this is going to look cool. Okay, so I've flipped it over. We'll glue the other one on. This runs opposite to the first one we installed. Alright, in carefully and just visually set it about the same. So I'm using the grid as my guide. That's looking terrific. Okay, we'll wait for that one to dry. Now these side ones, I'm going to go ahead and install them. Some of you might think that where's it going to go? That'll go there like that. You might think that that's starting to look a bit too busy. I'm okay with it. I like the idea of it. I'm going to go ahead and put them on, but by all means, customize your own in your own way. If you like them, put them on. If not, you can always rip them off and touch up the paint. So far, it's looking pretty cool. I think that's great. I am tempted not to put these on. Let's put them on just so that we can at least see what it looks like, and then you'll know for sure whether or not to put these guys on. So I'll start with this side. Flip these over. I've already done my little fake bolts. All right, we'll do one and then the other with a little glue drying break in between, and oh dear, I've got the string all over the place. Here we go. Throw him on. Line them up visually, get it roughly the same. There we are. That looks pretty accurate. Just let that dry for a bit. It's really starting to come together. And the final little crisscross piece. Oh, went a bit crazy there. And here comes the last one. We'll just sneak that in through there. Straighten this up just for a moment. And go a wee bit higher. We'll let that dry, and then we'll have a look at it and see what you think before proceeding. Okay, we've got those four on, so let's have a bit of a look at that. So front on there. Now again, some will feel it's a bit overdone. I think it's probably a little overdone. I don't mind it. I won't really know until I see the finished model. But that leaves this last piece, and this piece we definitely want to add. I don't have this on the prototype. I think I will make one and put one on at another time. This is going to go up the top here, just under the roof line to finish it off. So this is a definite must-have. I'll just add this one on. Same again, little dab. Yeah. All right, let's add this up the very top. Just make it flush either side. Definitely looks level according to the grid. Okay, so that's coming along. So, oh, this piece, let's add this while we're here. This piece goes here. This is our little ledge. I've pre-painted that, as you can see. Just a few dabs will do it. Again, make him flush with the top. Get the edges right. Now, we'll obviously have to touch up little spots here and there with paint. Probably along the top there. But just get it flush with that. I think that looks good. Very good. And, oh, sorry about that, bumped the camera. This little extra signpost, let's add that on the front there. This is a bit of a rough one. I'll put the roughness to the bottom. And again, it's just a visual thing. Totally up to you. I'm going about half and half, but keep in mind we're going to add a logo like we've done here with this one. Actually, that's a good point. What should we make this one? We've got a Mobil. Maybe this one should be a Goodyear or a Michelin. We'll have a think about that. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, and no, I don't mean the end. We're going to put the roof on. Or maybe I mean the end, but I'm getting pretty tired. I don't know about you. Okay, so I've chosen which way is up, which way is down. I've got a darker black, sort of a charcoal colour underneath where it's shadows, and a more of a grey on the top. That'll do. I've picked the nicest edge to go front. That's going to be on the back. It's a bit ick. So we're just going to flip this like such. And then I'm going to add some glue to the 4 points here. All right, now that's the back, that's the front. It's upside down. That is the front, yes. I've got it on my grid. Now, there's a trick to this. Using one of these offcuts of that 5mm balsa wood on here, I'm just using that as a spacer on the back. And that's how I got the right spacing. So we'll do the same here. Just put one there, one there. Now we're going to probably get glue everywhere, but remember we can touch this up. Flip this over carefully, and we're just going to center it visually and place it approximately where we think it's correct at this stage. And then let's go back there and have a closer look. Oh. That's looking good. Move that forward. That's good. That's pretty good. Okay, now it's just a matter of making sure it is center visually. That's looking good. Probably slide it a bit over there. Get it square. It's a bit wider here than it is here, so I'm just going to swing it around a little bit till that's better. It looks much nicer. Okay, and now to put it on the base. I painted the base with a sort of a dark grey I mixed up just to simulate concrete. You can dress it up later with whatever. Now, like on this model, I set it back a bit, so probably double the distance of the thickness of one of these. These guys, yeah. It's not critical where you put it. I just felt that in the front here you could put tyre stacks or some sort of decoration. Leave yourself options. So let's just add the glue, pop it on, and go fetch that ladder. It should be dry by now. All right, drum roll. I'm just, again, going on a visual, lining the base up to the grid. It helps to help it get fairly accurate as far as squareness is concerned. It's on there. It's sitting nice. I don't like that glue there. Yeah. Oh, now he's gone and made it worse. Okay, clean up on aisle 6. Okay, that's taking shape. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, I have retrieved the ladder, which proved rather hazardous. Some kind of creature attacked me. Some kind of giant bug thing the size of a bird. I think it was getting high on the spray paint fumes and didn't really appreciate my presence out there, but I survived. Let's glue this ladder on. The spray paint, it's turned out pretty good. It's not brilliant, it's not perfect. Some of those joins are a bit so I'm going to put them on the inside. Handle this carefully. Obviously some glue on those. And then let's see whereabouts we're going to need the glue for this. again, we can touch this up later. A bit there. Damn it. And a blob there. And we've got strings galore. This glue really is crap. Alright, so I'm going to stand this up. And we're just going to center it up here before we let it touch the base. And guess what? My fingers are stuck to the spray paint, which isn't quite dry yet. Just moving along. Just get it centered nicely. It's off. That's better. How's that? I think that is pretty cool. Now again, we'll any of those little bits of glue hanging off and things like that, we'll clean it up. We'll have to get the paint out and just touch up a few things. Wait for it all to properly dry, but that's looking great. So the next shot you see will be the finished item, complete with paint touch-ups and even a logo on the front. See if you can guess what I end up going with as far as logos are concerned. And there we are, all done. I went with the Mobile One logo. Seems to really pop on this piece. And I don't know about you, but I'm really liking those angled cross members. Seems to add a real little touch of magic to this model. I wasn't too sure, but I think that is a success. Let's put it on the layout and see how it looks. Okay, well, I found some information on the various coloured flags. The blue flag is to indicate that a quicker competitor is closing or trying to pass. The yellow flags are danger, slow down sufficiently to ensure that full control of the vehicle can be retained and no overtaking. The green flag is all clear at the end of a danger area, controlled by yellow flags, also used to signal the start of a formation lap. And then the white flag, that's also in that Carrera set of flag marshals. According to this, a white flag is a service car or slow-moving vehicle is on the circuit. The white flag will be waved to indicate the sector the slow-moving vehicle is in and held stationary whilst the vehicle is in the next sector. So hopefully that will give you some indicator of where to place these coloured flags around your layout. I don't think we could have done a better job if we actually knew what we were doing. A little bit of practice and putting together things like this, you'll become an expert in no time. Well, wasn't that fun? Thanks for making it through to the end. That's an achievement in itself. I hope yours turned out as good as this one. Please let us know how you went in the comments below. And that's all for today. We'll see you on the next episode of Hughes Garage Slot Car Adventures.
Well done, crafty ones. Until next time.